Islamabad is currently under an extraordinary security lockdown as the United States and Iran prepare for crucial peace talks in the Pakistani capital. The city has been transformed into a high-security zone with thousands of paramilitary forces and army personnel deployed across sensitive areas, strict checkpoints in place, and surveillance tightened across key diplomatic routes. This level of security reflects the seriousness of the moment. The negotiations come after 6 weeks of intense conflict between Iran and Israeli Western forces, a war that has already claimed thousands of lives across West Asia, disrupted global energy supplies, pushed oil prices upward, and added fresh pressure on already fragile global inflation. Now, all eyes are on Islamabad, where diplomatic efforts are being made to stop further escalation and explore a possible roadmap toward de-escalation. What outcomes can be expected? Diplomatic experts believe there are 3 possible directions these talks could take. First, a limited ceasefire arrangement, where both sides may agree to halt direct military escalation and reduce strikes in phases. This would not end the conflict completely, but could prevent it from expanding further. Second, humanitarian and indirect cooperation measures, such as prisoner exchanges, aid corridors, or reduction of targeted sanctions. These steps are often used as confidence-building mechanisms before full peace negotiations. Third, a framework for long-term negotiations, which could include broader discussions on nuclear concerns, regional influence, and sanctions relief for Iran in exchange for security guarantees. However, analysts also warn that deep mistrust between Washington and Tehran means a full and immediate peace deal is unlikely. Even if talks begin positively, the process could be long, fragile, and highly unpredictable. How India is viewing the situation. For India, these developments are extremely important from both an economic and strategic perspective. India depends heavily on energy imports, and any instability in West Asia directly affects global oil prices. A prolonged conflict in the region leads to higher fuel costs, inflationary pressure, and economic uncertainty. India also maintains strategic interests in Iran, particularly through infrastructure and connectivity projects like the Chabhar route, which provides access to Afghanistan and Central Asia while bypassing Pakistan. At the same time, India values stability in the Gulf region, as millions of Indian workers live and send remittances from countries in West Asia. So, a de-escalation between the US and Iran is generally seen as a positive development for New Delhi. In short, India is closely watching these talks, not as a participant, but as a major stakeholder in regional stability. Pakistan's image, mediator or stage for diplomacy? For Pakistan, hosting these high-profile talks is a significant diplomatic moment. On one hand, it allows Islamabad to project itself as a neutral facilitator and regional diplomatic bridge capable of bringing rival powers to the negotiating table. This helps Pakistan showcase relevance in global geopolitics at a time when it is facing economic pressure and internal political instability. However, there is also criticism that Pakistan's role may be more about hosting than influencing outcomes. The heavy security lockdown, tightly controlled optics, and carefully managed arrivals of delegations have sparked debate about whether this is real diplomacy or carefully staged international theater. Why the child was seen during JD Vance's welcome. One particular moment that drew attention was the presence of a child during the ceremonial reception of the US delegation led by Vice President JD Vance. While official explanations have not been detailed, such gestures are often used in diplomatic protocols to project symbolism, peace, innocence, and hope for the future. A child in such a setting is meant to represent a message of stability and humanitarian intent. However, critics argue that such visuals can sometimes appear overly staged, especially when they occur alongside tightly controlled security environments and high-stakes negotiations. This has led to discussions on whether diplomacy is being communicated through substance or through symbolism. The Iranian delegation's message, adding another layer of sensitivity, The Iranian delegation reportedly arrived with strong symbolic messaging, including references to civilian casualties and war-affected children, including images linked to school tragedies. These visuals are aimed at highlighting the human cost of the conflict and shaping international perception during negotiations. This shows that the talks are not just political, they're also deeply emotional and narrative-driven, with both sides trying to influence global opinion. The bigger global stakes. Beyond Pakistan, India, or Iran, the outcome of these talks could reshape global stability. A breakthrough could stabilize oil markets, reduce inflation, and open pathways for wider diplomatic engagement in West Asia. But failure could intensify tensions, further destabilize the region, and trigger economic ripple effects across the world. For now, Islamabad stands at the center of global attention, not as a battlefield, but as a diplomatic stage where the future of a conflict may be decided. And the world is waiting to see whether these talks bring peace or another pause before escalation.